Good morning, I'm Daphne. Welcome back to Brigit's Breakfast. Today I'm drinking a green smoothie. It's apple, pineapple, and there's some ginger in there, and then there was also kale. And then I had frozen bananas. I threw it all in a blender with some almond milk, and here we have a smoothie. It's so good. So, how are you? It's been a while, right? Yeah. I had some other commitments that I need to take care of over the last couple of weeks. So here we are again for another Brigit's Breakfast. I have organized for myself a kind of a healing journey that I am taking part in. It's basically a set of meditations. I'll do a different meditation every day for 19 days. And I'm documenting some of my thoughts on a TikTok account I have called Daphne Priestess. I'm pretty sure it's called just Daphne Priestess. And so I will, in the details below, I will put the link for that TikTok account. You have to ask to request to follow, because I'm trying to be a little bit, open with my sharing. And so that means that I need to be a little bit aware of who's watching. So if you'd like to follow along, I'll be posting every day some of my thoughts on what's going on and how the journey is going, and you can watch it there if you'd like. I decided to post some of my thoughts because getting out of myself and talking about my issues, a lot of times it helps me to work out and process things. And also it helps me to get out of myself and think that maybe my thoughts on struggles might help someone else. Because when I listen to podcasts and watch documentaries on other people's struggles and they give insight on how they got through it, it always helps me. So I like to pass that on. So that's why I'm sharing every day on that journey. And that's kind of why I'm doing these videos too. I have kept, all this time, I've kept my Isis card on my altar, and I'm going to continue with the Isis card on my altar. And after we talk about some other things, I will choose a new card to add to my altar, but I'm going to keep Isis there so she can still help me with the processes that I'm going through now. So there's no rule on how you're going to do this. If you want to do it too. You don't need to say, oh, every week I need to change it. Every day I need to change it. Sometimes you might have multiple cards or multiple Om sticks or runes on your altar or on your bedside table to remind you of the healing processes and the healing that you're looking for, or whatever it is that you might want to meditate. There's no hard and fast rule about how you're going to do it. So that's why I'm just kind of showing you how I'm doing it, and it's very organic. I don't know from one week what I'm going to talk about. I don't have a list of topics. I just like see what comes up, and that's what I talk about. So it's kind of based on what you ask for too. If I see that someone else asks a question, like what happened with the cauldron, someone asked a question to me that week, and then I decided to do the video about the cauldron. So if you all have any kind of question or about me or about paganism or any other practices, please put them in the comments, and I will be happy to see what I can do for you. This journey that I've been going on has been, it's going to be based on some meditations that have to do with pentagrams. And so that is going to bring us to our learning for today, which we'll talk about a pentagram or pentacle. Here we go. This Brigit's Breakfast is brought to you by the letter P for pentagram or pentacle. A pentagram is a 5-pointed star polygon. Drawing a circle around the 5 points creates a similar symbol referred to as the pentacle, which is used widely by Wiccans and in paganism as a correspondence to the element of earth, a sign of life and spiritual and psychological connections. The word pentagram refers only to the five-pointed star without the surrounding circle of a pentacle. There is a history of the pentagram and pentacle, how they were and are used in various religions and belief systems that can be researched if you are interested. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the pentagram and pentacle are used in my practice as a priestess of the goddess. The figure symbolizes union, harmony, and balance, as well as the sacred and divine. As I talked about in another video, the pentacle corresponds to the earth element and is placed in the direction of the north on our altars. The pentagram as the earth element corresponds to the body. We can actually stand or lay down in the position of the pentagram, like in the work by Leonardo da Vinci. Also referring to geometry, the pentagram and the man appearing inside the circle represent perfect proportions, the sacred alignment between humans and the universe. In biodanza, standing outstretched like this is a generative position we call expansion or the man star. Depending on our intention, we can close our eyes and stand or lay down in this position to feel grounded into the earth, or expanded and connected to the center of the universe as an integral part of nature as a whole. We can use the pentagram or the pentacle as a meditation tool. There are infinite examples, and I will talk more about these in detail in a moment. Each point corresponds to an idea or concept to be explored, and we can meditate on that concept in order to learn more about ourselves, the cycles of nature, the goddess, and life itself. Sometimes we meditate on one point at a time, or how the points connect to each other, or how the pentagram feels to us as a whole. One way to do it is we can light a candle on the point corresponding to what we will explore, and say an incantation, play music and meditate, dance, or stay quiet, letting our thoughts flow. We use pentagrams originating from various traditions, or we build our own. We can use the pentacle for healing or hexing spells. We can place a representation of a person or situation in the center of a pentacle and light candles on each point and speak incantations depending on our intentions. When I do this, it is important for me to consider deeply the consequences of my work and know that spells affect me as well as the object of the spell. The energy does not only move outward, it also comes back to me in some way. So I always use self-reflection and meditation with the goddess when I am considering healing or hexing to make sure my work is grounded in integrity. We consecrate our magical tools or our offerings by drawing an invoking pentacle in the air above the object and speaking our intention. We draw an invoking pentacle in the air to seal and protect our space and declare our space sacred when we are casting a circle for a ritual. We use the pentacle as a protection symbol for our homes. We wear them on our clothes or as jewelry. We sometimes get a tattoo. Using the pentacle cleanses us spiritually and fills our lives with the blessings of harmony, balance, and sacredness. P, the pentagram or pentacle. I know that the pentacle, especially that has the circle around it, it sparks fear in those who don't know what it means. And it sparks like, oh, this is about the devil. This is about evil. This is scary. This is a mystery I don't know. And I think that understanding can bring a little bit of insight and let you know that the way witches wear pentacle has a certain meaning that is extremely sacred and is more about balance and harmony than about anything else. So I invite you to explore different pentagrams and pentacles, and try to unlearn that what the patriarchy has taught you about what a pentacle is. It doesn't mean something a Christian needs to fear at all. This smudging bundle, I really love it. I love the colors. It has lavender and it has sage, and the red is actually dragon's blood. Look it up. What are you drinking today? Coffee, tea, smoothie? So I'm going to talk a little bit about pentacles and pentagrams that I have used in my practice as a meditative tool. Of course, I have a necklace with a pentacle that I've used. I have shirts, t-shirts that have a big pentacle. I remember when I first began practicing, I bought this giant one that I wore here, and I really wish I still had it, but I don't. But it's just giant, a giant pentacle that I wore hanging. It was very heavy too. I just wanted to scream out to the world what I was doing in my spiritual life. Sometimes people do it. Sometimes people will wear it because they want to be recognized as a witch or as a pagan. And a lot of times we charge the pentacle with an energy of protection when we want to wear it. Sometimes you can imagine a person that is far away from you. Imagine that person, look at a picture of that person or have a picture of that person in front of you and draw the pentacle on top of them to bless them, to send them protection, send them healing, something that they need, that you recognize that they need. And that is where I get into the thing about reflection. We can use the pentacle to do healing and hexing spells where, well, depending on how serious the work is, you'd have to do a lot of self-reflection to see if that is something that you should really do ethically. There is a lot of controversy about spells and the ethics of witchcraft, and I won't get into that right now. What I did mention and what I will continue to mention is that it should not be done without thinking first. But some of my greatest spells were done before I was a high priestess, before I was even a priestess. Some of my most powerful spells were done when I was just first learning. So I wouldn't tell anyone not to try something that you really feel is necessary. However, I do urge you to meditate with the goddess to see how it should be done and whether it really is for the good of your situation. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about different pentagrams. I have here the Pentacle of the 5 Stages of Life. This can be found in Starhawk's book, The Spiral Dance. I have here, this is my copy. I bought it in the year 2001 or 2002, and it was written in originally 1979. It is one of the original, the OG paganism books. And if you want to learn, I always say to someone who says, I don't have anything, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, I always say, start with Starhawk's Spiral Dance. For those of you who have already read it, this will be a reminder to you. In this book, we have a few pentacles, pentagrams that serve as meditative tools. One that I mentioned is called the 5 Stages of Life. As you can see, we have birth, initiation, consummation or love, repose, and death. And each of these points are a different phase of life itself, and they are also different phases of any project or anything that needs to be birthed and created. So one of the things that I did when I began my practice was to meditate on which each point means to me and which I feel most comfortable with, and which cause me fear or trepidation or anxiety, if any. And this it works as a tool for self-knowledge, and also when I really look at those things, I kind of begin to understand nature a little bit better because I'm not faced with it in my life. I'm just thinking about it. For example, death, I'm not thinking about it because I'm faced with someone close to me who's dying, or I'm not close to my own death. I'm thinking about it because I would like to have more understanding about what it means to me and about how it works in nature and what's the point of it. The cycle of life all all the points on the cycle of life have meaning and have a function. And so it's good to start there. When we're trying to integrate into nature and celebrate the cycles of nature, it's important to think about what the cycles of nature are. One of them, of course, is the cycle of birth, growth, and death. And pagans also believe in rebirth. So some kind of rebirth. Okay, so that's one pentacle. The next one is the Iron Pentagram, which is also found in Starhawk's book. It is a meditative tool of the fairy tradition. As you can see, their points are sex, self, passion, pride, and power. Now, why would anybody sit and meditate on these things? Well, if you think about it, these are some of the concepts that have been kind of demonized and made negative by the patriarchal society. They have been shrouded in shame and fear, and basically we've been told that we shouldn't have sex except with certain people. We shouldn't be selfish. We shouldn't think about ourselves. We should always give and not have anything. These are Christian values, selflessness is wonderful. However, it needs to be balanced. Passion is something that people can consider uncontrollable, that we shouldn't delve into. Pride, of course, there are certain forms of pride which are really celebrated in our society. However, personal pride, when someone gets too full of themselves, it becomes a problem. And power. There are different forms of power that we need to look at if we meditate upon power, the different kinds of power. Is it power from within? Is it power over others? What kind of power do you recognize as necessary in your life, or not at all? Do you feel like you will submit to others' power, or are you constantly trying to control others? These are all just examples of ways that we can reflect upon this pentagram, because these points are the points that have become most difficult for us to deal with in our daily lives if we are not free. It's just an example. As a meditative tool, you can reflect upon what you think about all of these things and how much of your belief system has been shaped by the patriarchy, or perhaps the church, if you were ever a part of it, or your family. When we reflect upon these things, we also reflect on, well, where does that come from? Do I really believe that? Is that something that is my value, really? Or am I just repeating what I've been taught without thinking about it? So all of these, without going into real detail about what each point means, because the book actually has, it explains each one. You can get the book and read about it. I'm just giving you an example of how you can reflect upon each point, or how each point relates to one another, and how you can learn about yourself and the world by reflecting on each one of these points. I have another pentagram that I'd like to share with you, which is actually a pentacle. It has the circle around it. And the title of it, the name of it actually, is the Pentacle of Recovery, because it does include the circle as part of the meditation. And as you can see, there are 5 points, and then there's the circle. The first point about naming a problem. The second point is about deciding to transform. The third point is about examining yourself and seeking to see your strengths and your abilities, and sharing with someone your findings, talking about it, with someone you trust. The fourth point is about working to banish, release, or transform those things that have brought you difficulties. And the fifth point is about seeking growth and sovereignty. This one is important because you're not only seeking growth, but you're seeking to be in charge of yourself. Being a person that's a thinker, though you compromise and you take care of your family, you make compromises and you live in harmony with others, you don't erase yourself by doing that. You are, you take very seriously your self-sovereignty. Look to, you know, take away those harmful behaviors that get you out of your power, that take you out of your center. And then the circle is surrounding your life with intention, living mindfully because you know that your actions affect not only yourself but others, and also not only others but yourself. It's that that balance that you want to look for to be of service to the world and your family. Maybe not everybody, but do something in the world that, you know, makes sense to you, that makes you happy. But with mindfulness, being like, you know what you're doing, it's good, and you think before you act. What kind of consequence can I expect from this action? Am I prepared to deal with the consequences of my actions? All of this is part of mindfulness. And so that's the circle around the Pentacle of Recovery. The Pentacle of Recovery is for anyone who needs it. It's for someone who has an addiction, someone who has a harmful behavior that they would like to let go of, someone who has a problem and would like to apply the pentacle to the problem. I will put in the details of this video the link to the Recovery Craft group on Facebook. It is an online group, and I'm not sure if it's in person. I think it's not yet, but it is an online group that has meetings, and it is for anyone who needs help with those things. So that is a pentacle that I'm working right now in that journey that I said that I'm starting. I'm on the second point. You can do it like when you do a point, sometimes people say, okay, I'm going to meditate on this point for 2 weeks. I'm going to meditate on the next point for 3 weeks. I am going to, each point will have 2 weeks, and then I will meditate on the thing as a whole for another 2 weeks. It's a long process. Or you can do it quickly. You can look at it and reflect on it all at once in 15 minutes. Or the way I'm doing it in this 19-day journey is I will take every point and spend 1 day on it. This is my experience right now. It can be used in any way. It's a tool. So if you want ideas, or if you need someone to talk to while you're doing this, if you'd like to try it, please get in touch with me. I would be happy to help. Okay? Okay, so even though I'm keeping the Isis card on my altar, I'm going to choose a new card to add to our experience. And remember that if you are watching this, this might apply to you also. And also the Isis energy may be helping you at this point too, if you're following these videos. I'm going to choose a card from Fairy Forest. These are absolutely gorgeous cards. Aren't they great? Aren't they beautiful? So these are the Fairy Forest cards. I'm going to choose one. If you'd like to add any information about the pentagram or the pentacle, or any pentagram or pentacle that you use, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Now let's choose a card for today. The Life Bringer. Establishment, growth, and fulfillment. That's gorgeous. You know what's even more beautiful about that is that, which is something that I haven't talked about right now, is that we are in Ostara season. And that is a Sabbath about new life and renewal, and about fertility, and about the emergence of new things, of new life. And in the Northern Hemisphere is about the spring season. And so this card really fits in with that theme of new life. Let's see what the Life Bringer has to say as according to the book, just so we don't lose any meaning that is intended. I'm going to read it. It's not very long. Okay. The Life Bringer. About you now, ideas and projects are gestating. Constellations of ideas are birthing. Your creativity is flowing from within, and ideas are developing in an easy, organic flow. For a time, you will be rich in health and love and in physical beauty. That's great. While there is much that is new about you, what has already been developed within your world can now be brought to greater fulfillment. So children may begin to mature and grow older, and your ambitions and your dreams may need support to move from their beginnings to become truly established and make their presence strong and unshakable. Your accomplishments will now be acknowledged. Respect will be given as it is overdue, and your contributions and your work will now receive the value and recognition they deserve. This could also mean you are able to ask for more money in exchange for your services and seek investment to develop your business. Your influence, power, and reputation are all growing in healthy, inspiring ways. You feel good in yourself, a loving relationship with your body now develops, and you accept and receive loving support from others. No more will you receive disrespect. Unkind words about yourself or your ventures will no longer be tolerated. You are growing in stature. Finally, the world sees you for who you are, a successful being who has followed their dreams. I would love that to be true. I'm going to keep this on my altar and see that it can attract this energy to me, because I'm not feeling it right now. I'm feeling like I'm on my way to this, in several sides of my life. I'm a biodance teacher. I am developing some courses that I'm going to put online in my priestesshood. And these are things that these are ventures of my own. And I'm putting myself out there. So, because this is what I have to give, basically. And this life bringer blessing is a nice feeling of knowing that perhaps it will be well received. So good luck to all of you too with this energy. And I look forward to what blossoms from the life bringer. Well, the song that came to me right now to share with you today is called Savage Daughter. It's by Sarah Hester Ross.
I am my mother, savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones.
Thank you for watching Brigit's Breakfast today. Have a wonderful day.
I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice.
Hello, good morning everybody. Let me show you where I am. I'm in a park real close to my house. There's my car up there, that red car. And well, it's not really a park here. It's more a square. We call it a praça. It's like a little corner where there's some trees and a place to walk around. And I wanted to document a little bit this journey that I'm embarking on. That's going to be 19 days. 19 is one of the sacred numbers of Brigit. And so she's sending me on a healing journey. So I have some things I need to work on. And I need to check in a couple times during the day in order to make it real for me. A lot of times I stay in my head, I stay like in my head and talk myself out of things. And I end up starting and stopping and doing everything just in my head. And, I was inspired to maybe share a little bit, then that could keep me
out of my head and out of myself, and maybe, maybe someone else can benefit from this. So I'm going on this healing journey that I was inspired to build for myself of 19 days, and each day there's a different meditation that I'll need to do. I'm going to talk about the Pentacle of Recovery, and today I'm on the first point of the Pentacle of Recovery, which is recognizing that I have a problem that I need to heal. And, I'm not at rock bottom with my problems, but I am enough struggling that I need to start over and do a journey and, look in a little bit. There's an airplane. I don't know if you can hear it. So that's what I'm doing, because I don't want to hit rock bottom again. I've had several years of trouble with food, with body image and the way that I have a relationship with food.